Deerfield Beach High School in Florida. How many of you people are familiar with that high school? We're getting ready to talk about not only the individual that you see on my screen here, but we're going to talk about what I believe is a deeper issue, not just an isolated incident, okay? But that was a 15-year-old boy who tragically lost his life here today. Let's talk about this. A 15-year-old football star was one of two people, meaning three people got shot. Two people were killed in a devastating shooting that broke out at his grandfather's funeral in Florida on Saturday, his coach confirmed. We're going to have to really absorb this. The young kid right there was among three people that were shot, two that were killed. And you guys can see some of the photos here. He was shot at his grandfather's funeral in Florida. Now tell me that doesn't sound like a lot of the stories we hear coming out of Chicago and other places. Why does this typically only happen to black people? Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe there are some country rednecks out there that are out shooting up their own family's funerals. Could be. Maybe there are some Asian people out there busting at their funerals. Could be. Maybe there are some Latinos out there that are out busting and shooting up funerals in America. Right? It could be. Maybe it's not just us. Maybe it's white people do it too. But I don't think it is though. That's the problem. I think it's just an isolated incident. Not an isolated incident, but this type of thing predominantly only happens to black people. We are our own worst enemies. They say it's the white man that I should fear, but it's my own kind that keeps doing all the killing here. Shout out to Tupac for that quote. Let's talk about this story. Deerfield Beach High School star Terrance Jackson, the 15-year-old there in the good-looking white suit right there with the blue on. I ain't gonna lie, I really like that. He looked good. Terrance Jackson was 15 years old and was killed at his grandfather's funeral. Coach Javon Glenn said to the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, which is the local paper there. Jackson, who was a sophomore who played defensive end, I played defensive end in high school, had skipped a team trip to tour several colleges to attend the service in Riviera Beach when shots were fired on the street in front of Victory City Church on West 20th Street shortly after 2:30 p.m. following the funeral. So that means the funeral happened, and as the people were coming out, they shot him up. Like, what kind of shit is this? But I'm going to talk a little bit more about the details. So the shooting left. This is one of the victims, Royce Freeman, 47 years old. I did not have a picture of the woman that was wounded. Her name is Shanita Miller, 30 years old. And of course, the 15-year-old Jackson. Jackson and Royce were the two that were actually murdered. A woman who was shot is also being treated for non-life-threatening injuries in that shooting. A fourth person, oh wow, I missed that. A fourth person was initially identified as a victim, but was actually shot in an unrelated incident elsewhere in the city. Wow. Isn't that crazy, y'all? Isn't that crazy? Matter of fact, if you guys would do me a favor, and I see a few familiar names in the chat. I see you guys. Thank y'all for being here. Do me a favor and click that thumbs up. It'll help share our stream and let other people know that we're live. We're doing really good with the thumbs up. Just make sure and continue to keep doing that. When you come in, boom, smash that like button and let me know, hey, Jay, I hit the thumbs up. Thank you guys for always doing that. No arrests have been made in the Saturday shooting. No arrests have been made in the Saturday shooting, which investigators are calling a random act of violence. Ooh. I have a question. Yes, Jay, what's your question? Why would they say that this is a random act of violence if they don't know for a fact that it was a random act of violence? I would be glad to wait for somebody's intelligent response to that question. How would they know investigators are calling this a random act of violence? And I'm going to tell you guys this. Most acts of violence are not random. Especially for you to unload, what they call unloading the clip, dumping the clip at somebody, or having a gun full of rounds and a magazine and unloading it on a crowd. You generally do that if you know them, meaning it's not random. Is that not common sense? Just curious. Said you're glad I'm covering this story. I appreciate that. Thank you. It really caught my attention because I'm like, the light bulb went off in my head and I'm like, this is so weird. There is absolutely no way that they can say that this is a random act of violence. It happens sometimes that way. Most times, if these gang members and people like that are shooting at each other, that's not random. Did I just say that? Is the family going to get mad at me? Is the family going to threaten to sue me? Is the family going to kick my ass for saying that this was gang related? Now, why would just Jay say such a definitive thing? Unlike investigators, there are actually some details in this story that I can point to that will prove my point and disprove their point. This was not random at all. Let me tell you why. Here's what they said. While the motive for the shooting is still being investigated, it is believed it was a result of a dispute between relatives of the deceased whose funeral had been held. Riviera Beach police said in a statement. They believe it was between relatives. I'm going to say that again. They say it was between relatives. I'm going to say that again. They say it was between relatives. If we go back one paragraph, they said they are calling this a random act of violence. Then in the very next paragraph, it says, it is believed that it is a result of a dispute between relatives of the deceased. Now, if I were a box of crayons, I might be a brown or a blue, right? Because maybe Just Jay is not the brightest crayon in the box. But I'm just saying, when you hear those two things, how can you say, on one hand, this is a random act of violence? Then, on the other hand, you say, we believe that this was the dispute between family members. Huh? How is it a dispute between family members, but you're saying it's random, like somebody just saw a funeral and said, you know what? Fuck them niggas over there on that side. Blah, 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 blah. Shot it up. That's not the way that works at all. And that same sentence proved my point. But let's go deeper. We're not done. We're not done. Let's go deeper. Some type of disagreement between the family that kind of escalated and got out of control, said Taiwante D. Lupo, Victory City Church's senior pastor, Taiwante. The senior pastor of a Rivera Beach church where two people were shot and killed after a funeral on Saturday said that he was aware that there was some tension among the family. What? I'm gonna read that again. And I did hear that donation go off. Girl, you are on a roll. Thank you so much. I did hear that donation go off. I'm gonna read it here in a moment. Thank you very much. You know who you are. Thank you very much. I'm gonna read it here in a moment. The senior pastor of the Rivera Beach church where two people were shot and killed after a funeral on Saturday, Taiwante Lupe, said that he was aware that there was some tension among the family. We may not understand it all, said senior pastor Taiwante Lupe. The shooting prompted Lupe to post an update on Facebook explaining the night before the funeral that he found out that the service could be met with tension. It could be met with tension? Really? Okay, let's keep going. We were aware of some potential escalation of this family. I did receive a phone call last night that there was some heated things going on between this particular family. We informed our staff here on the ground, on site, he said. When the funeral ended, the armed guards pulled away from the property, and that's when the gunfire erupted. I want you to take a pen, bookmark that part of the story. We'll come back to it. This family lost sight of what real love is. Now, how is that random if it seems like he keeps continuing to point back to the family? That don't sound random to me. I have family in Riviera Beach. So, Sweet D, I definitely want you to comment on this if you have any type of feelings about this, okay? Or any thoughts or anything that you want to add to this, okay? Anybody that's out there in Florida or in this area, or if you know the family, feel free to comment or feel free to send them the link. I sent it to a couple of people, so they will either see it now or they'll see it later, okay? Officials said listening devices in the area counted 13 rounds of shots fired. 13. That's not random. The kids are heartbroken, Coach Glenn said. The team's Twitter account posted Saturday evening said, "Why, God?" with a prayer emoji and a tear emoji. Glenn hailed Jackson as an athlete who was working hard to perfect his craft. Now here's another part. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I have the mom's picture here or not. I think I do. Let me see if I can get mama's, the Black Queen's picture up here. Hold on a second. Let me see if Just Jay did his due diligence. We'll come back to that photo right there in a moment. We'll come back to that. I want you to mark that in your brain right there. We're going to come back to that. Okay? Because this has everything to do with the mom. That is the biological mom. Her name is Terrance Jackson. I don't know if you guys are old like me. I don't know if y'all remember the video game Tron, but her name is Terrance. It's spelled Tronica. Tranisha. Either way, it's a Tron, whatever. Terrance Jackson. His mother said she is confused as to why her son was targeted. Thank you, Rick Rooster. Rick Rooster already caught it. Tranisha, whatever. She says she's confused as to why her son was targeted. How many people do we have listening to the stream right now? 175. Can y'all click that thumbs up for me? Let me know that you hear the sound of my voice. Let me know that you can see this image on my screen. What is that you guys say? You say, Jay, I can't see that image. Can you make it bigger on the screen, Jay? Well, let's see. Can I make this image bigger on my screen? Well, you got dang right, I sure can. Let me go ahead and take this image that you guys see on the screen. Let's make this a little bit bigger for those who are visually impaired. Is there anybody that's visually impaired out there? For those of you who may be visually impaired, for those of you who might be from the hood, like your boy DJ Just Jay is, that might be familiar with some hood shit, some real shit, some real nigga shit, right? Some north side, east side, south side, west side shit. Don't be disrespecting my hood type shit. I'm just curious. I'm just curious as to what you guys think about this photo. Let me read what his all black beautiful queen mama said about him. Sunday night, his mother, Tronica, whatever her name is, said she is confused as to why her son was targeted. My baby didn't do nothing. And that's actually a real quote. By the way, I'm reading it. I want you to look at this. My baby didn't do nothing, and he never hung out on the street. He never ran with the crowd, she said, Trinicia said. My baby played football, went to school, and played video games all the time. He was never that type of kid. Do y'all need me to read that again? Let me stroke my beard while I wait for an answer from you guys. What I want to know is, do you guys see something wrong with what I just read compared to what you see on the screen? Does anybody out there that's listening right now see anything on the screen that is wrong with this picture? Anybody? Nobody's going to say nothing. So nobody sees anything wrong with this photo. Nobody in the chat sees nothing wrong. Is that what you guys are telling me? Where y'all at, AFC? Can somebody type a AFC in the chat? Advocates for Children. This is a child. He is 15 years old. He is a little bitty baby. He's damn near a fetus. He's such a little baby. He's damn near a fetus. Right? Tranisha Jackson, whatever her name is, says she is confused as to why her son was targeted. My baby didn't do nothing, and he never hung out on the street. He never ran with the crowd, she said. My baby, my fetus, played football, went to school, and played video games all the time. He was never that type of kid. Hashtag throw your hood up. Can we get a hat? Because that's what we say in the hood. Hashtag throw your hood up. You heard me? Let's go ahead and remove that picture from the screen. I think you guys understand clearly what the fuck I'm saying right about now. However, Pastor Taiwante warned that he was very aware. That's the mom, by the way. Biological mom. That's Tranisha, whatever. The pastor said that he was very aware violence was a possibility at the funeral due to a family dispute. As a result, the church had armed security present, as well as Riviera Beach police officers at a goddamn funeral. Let's keep going. Let's just skip the fact that you need fucking security. Maybe this was the Illuminati. I think you're right. I think maybe this boy was on his way to millions, and maybe he was out there suing some company over the rights to his name, over to Terrance Jackson's name, and maybe he was going to be something big, and somebody, the white supremacy, came in and said, nope, this kid has got to go. So somebody put in a couple phone calls to a couple phone calls. So the higher ups in the Illuminati said they don't want this kid to make it. Y'all need to go shoot that funeral up, right? That's what happened. White supremacy got him. Got him and two other people. That's what it is. Armed security guards and the cop left after the funeral service finished. I have a question because I'm a dumbass. I'm just wondering, if your job is done, your job is completed, and your job is over, if somebody hired you to do a job, how do I talk to you directly? Shoot me an email. My email address is right here. I'll bring you on tonight, and I will bring you on here in about 10 minutes. The afcmatters@gmail.com. Can somebody post my email address in there for Drago to email me? I'd be more than happy to talk to him right now in 10 minutes. If somebody hires you to do a job, are you supposed to stay hours after that job ends, or are you supposed to do the job that you were paid for and leave? How many times have you guys said that I'm gonna work for 5 hours, you pay me for 5 hours, you know what, I'm gonna just stay longer just in case if y'all need me? Most people, most rational people would say, hey, after I've got my money, I'm gone. It ain't personal, it's just business, right? It ain't personal, it's just business. The armed security guards and cop left after funeral service finished. Taiwante, the pastor, said no one involved in the shooting were church members and no one was injured on the church property itself. So it didn't happen at the church. The pastor blasted police on Facebook for failing to take greater caution in securing the area after he raised warnings and concerns. Wow. Ain't that a bitch? Now it's the police's fault for getting this funeral randomly shot up. You could have blamed it on the Illuminati. That would have been just as good. That would have been maybe a better excuse. Maybe more black folks might have believed you if you would have said it's the Illuminati's fault. After the service, when a few attendees remained in the area, a fight broke out across the street from the church that culminated in the shooting. So there was a fight. Taiwante said no one involved in the shooting were church members and no one was injured on the church property itself. The pastor blamed it on the police for failing to take greater caution in securing the area, even though their job had already been completed. Riviera Beach police need to take responsibility too. As a church who serves the community, we called and asked for their assistance before this tragedy took place. We informed them of the potential violence. Our tax dollars should ensure we get what we need in order for our citizens and family to be protected. If we request you be there, he said. You gotta love niggas, man. You gotta love niggas. And by the way, for the people that ask, was there a GoFundMe? Well, I'm just saying, this is a young black kid in the hood, around hood elements. Does he have a GoFundMe? Of course he does. You know why? Because I think it's funny that as black people, we continue to say that all of the stuff is the white man's fault, but we turn around and put up something called a GoFundMe expecting for who to donate to it. Can anybody answer that question for me? When you put up this GoFundMe, who are black people expecting to donate to their GoFundMes? Because if it was black people, all the people in the hood and the church, matter of fact, why don't the church raise the money? Since they got shot at nearby the church attending a funeral, why don't the church just raise the money? I'm sure the church got the money that they're looking for. Maybe the church can just bury him for free. But now, Pastor Taiwante ain't gonna bury a black man that lives in his neighborhood that attended his church for free. No. Why would Taiwante bury his own member for free? Stroke the beard. Stroke the beard. Let's take a look at this. Just in case if you guys cannot see this on my screen, that highlighted blue amount of money says $20,000. $20,000. What is that y'all said? You said, Jay, can you make it bigger? I can't see it. Okay, Jay can make it bigger for you. Let me make this a little bit bigger for those who are visually impaired. Let's take a look at this. Terrance T.J. Jackson Jr. family. Hello to our family and friends and community. I have asked to start this GoFundMe. Who started this GoFundMe? This was Carsandra. Oh my God, the name. Carsandra. Oh my Jesus. You got a Tronica and a Carsandra. Anyway, let's talk about this Carsandra. Our beloved TJ recently passed away on the 1st, which was yesterday. Terrance was a wonderful and loving son. Let's skip all of that. On February the 1st, after speaking at his grandfather's funeral, so it was his grandfather, and visiting the burial site, a fight broke out at the repast. Some family members were hit by a car, including his mom. Holy shit. I did not catch that detail. Let me read that again. I need y'all to see my face. Look at the face. Listen at this again. Some family members were hit by a car, including his own mama. Niggas and hitting people with cars. What is the fascination with niggas and running people over with cars? I don't understand. Sadly, TJ was targeted in the neck by one single shot. She should have meant shot or hit or something. Anyway, his parents rushed to his need, but was unable. She said was, but it's supposed to be were unable to save him as he stared in their eyes. He was pronounced dead at the scene. We are all devastated by the Jacksons' loss and were not prepared for the high cost of a funeral service, being that the family was burying his grandfather the same day. Even though we have this thing called Gerber Life and insurance that you should have from the moment that your children are born, parents, Terrance Jackson. Why don't we believe in insurance? We know that blacks have a propensity to die before the age of 21, especially black men. Why don't you just specifically have insurance on young black males? Since they're the ones out here dying in the street like crazy. Notice that the black woman that was shot did not die. Notice that his black mama that was ran over by a fucking car did not die. But the two black men that were shot did die. Take a pen, bookmark that in your mind. We'll come back to it another day. We want to give Terrance the memorial he deserves to honor his memory and say our last goodbyes. We are currently asking for donations to help cover the cost of Terrance's funeral. We need to raise $20,000 by the day after Valentine's Day in order to be able to afford the funeral service. No insurance, and we have to give him the best send-off ever, so we have to have a $20,000 funeral. Please, somebody tell me, where's the logic in any of that? But let me go ahead and give you guys the one and only news video that was out there, just because that's all. It don't seem like much people really care. Let's talk about this. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Karen Grayley said funerals don't cost $20,000. Well, apparently you ain't never been to a black funeral. Black funerals cost $20,000 and up. $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000. Black funerals apparently cost that fucking much, apparently.
A 15-year-old is killed in a triple shooting outside a Riviera Beach church just moments after his grandfather's funeral.
CBS source Peter Dent joins us live from Deerfield Beach High School.
Let me stop this video for a moment. Let me ask a question, because Karen said that cremations can be done for about $1,200. I'm just wondering, for the family members that are out there, for the people that live in Florida, I'm just saying, have y'all ever heard this terminology called beggars can't be choosers? No, we can't use colloquialisms when they actually matter, when they actually fit. No, we have to wait until they don't fit, until we want to sound stupid to the rest of the world. Then we use the colloquialisms. Beggars can't be choosers. I'd say they ought to take that $1,200 that they got right now, do a cremation. You didn't have the money, so deal with it. Let's move on with the news video.
A 15-year-old is killed in a triple shooting outside a Riviera Beach church just moments after his grandfather's funeral.
CBS 4's Peter Dent joins us live from Deerfield Beach High School. That teen was a student there. Peter, the church's pastor is speaking out. What is he saying?
Well, he was saying that there was a warning that something might be up. They actually had more security guards, but after they left, that's when the shooting happened. Now, Terrance Jackson decided to not go on a team trip to several colleges because he wanted to attend his grandfather's funeral services in Riviera Beach. 13 shots were fired. Jackson and another man died on the scene. A woman was wounded. Yellow police tape is wrapped around the perimeter of the Victory City Church in Riviera Beach after the deadly shooting.
You may not understand it all.
Evidence markers show where 3 people were shot and 2 of them lost their lives. A 47-year-old man and 15-year-old Terrance Jackson, a defensive end on the football team at Deerfield Beach High School, where he was a sophomore. Jackson was here for his grandfather's funeral when the shots were fired.
At a time as they are laying to rest a loved one.
Broward Schools said Jackson was a good student and athlete, adding he was a valued member of the football team and student body and will be deeply missed by his teammates, friends, and teachers. Among tweets on social media, Coach John Casaro said, "I don't even know what to say." Coach Adam Bernard said, "So heartbroken. Love you, T. Rest easy, my boy." Another tweet said, "Been a crazy month for Broward. Rest in power, young bucks."
Broward County. Oh my God. Broward County, Florida. You mean the same place where the white man, where the Illuminati killed XXX Tentacion? Not the 3 black men that were looking to steal his freaking money and then floss on it on live. Not the same place. Are you serious? Broward County? Very interesting. Very interesting. Broward County. Oh my God.
Rest easy, my boy. Another tweet said, "Been a crazy month for Broward. Rest in power, young bucks." That's a reference to Bryce Gowdy, another Deerfield Beach High School football player whose December 30th death was ruled a suicide. He had been recruited by Georgia Tech. The shooting at the church prompted the pastor to post this update to Facebook, explaining there was a funeral that took place at his church earlier in the day. The night before, he found out the service could be met with tension.
We were aware of some of the potential escalation of this family. I did receive a phone call on last night that there was some heated things going on between this particular family. We informed our staff. They were on ground, on site.
When the funeral ended, armed guards that had been posted on the property pulled away, and that's when things took a deadly turn.
This family just lost sight of what real love is.
Now, a spokeswoman says Broward Schools sends condolences to Jackson's family and says crisis counselors will be out here tomorrow to help students at the high school. Meanwhile, Riviera Beach police say they believe the incident stemmed from a dispute between family members and the shooter. They're still looking for him. We are live at Deerfield Beach. Peter Dench, CBS 4 News.
Peter, thank you.
Why would I be laughing at this tragedy? Because this story is a hell of a lot simpler than what most people think. This right here and this right here. Let me crop this out a little bit because I don't know who that man is on the left-hand side. But it doesn't matter because we need to talk about his mama in this situation. Okay? Let's talk about this. Again, Pastor Taiwante said that he knew that there was going to be violence at this funeral. First and foremost, who was this violence between? Right? That's one thing that a logical person would ask. Who is the violence between? What is it over? Could you not put it on pause for another day and live to talk about it another day? No, niggas are just like, you know what? It's on site. And is that not what they say in the hood? It's on site. When I see you, it's on site. I know you're going to be there. It's on site. Right? too many deaths by way of guns? Is it too many deaths by way of guns, or is it too many deaths by way of niggas with guns? I'd love to hear a response to that. What you think about that? I hear a lot of people say gun violence, gun violence. I never hear anybody, except for us, say niggas. Niggas are the problem. I didn't even know until I read the GoFundMe. So for the people that, the family members, y'all know they gonna come for me. I'm gonna come for you. I'm gonna get you told, Just Jay, because you don't even live here and you talking about stuff that you don't know because you don't live here in Broward County. You don't know what we out here going through, right? Niggas with guns. If I take this inanimate object, as you guys can see, this is called a weapon, or what me in relationship rehab call a tool. See that? Empty. I take these, what we call in the hood a clip, put it in there. Let's go a little bit further. Let's go ahead and cock it. See that shit right there? That means that this thing is locked and loaded. And I'm gonna take this, and guess what I'm gonna do with it? I'm gonna sit it down on the table, and I'm gonna wait for this motherfucking gun to get up and go do what guns do. Right? I'm still waiting. No, that ain't no 9mm. Not at all. Not at all. Not a 9 at all. I'm still waiting. I got all night, guys. I can wait all night. Super Bowl's already over. The Kansas City Chiefs have already won. Patrick Mahomes has already won the game. I'm still waiting for this gun that is locked and loaded with the safety off, and I'm waiting for it to go do something. Well, Mr. Gunn, are you going to get your ass up? Are you going to go do some violence? Are you going to go commit some violence, Mr. Ruger? I dare you to go outside and go commit some violence, some random acts of violence. Go do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you. I put that on your mama, on your black queen mama, that you won't go out there and go commit some violence on somebody, Mr. Ruger. I double dog dare him, and I talked about the gun's mama. The gun didn't get up and do shit. Now I'm just wondering, why didn't this gun get up and do anything, even though I loaded it, I chambered around, and the gun didn't do shit? Can anybody tell me why this gun did not get up off this table and go do what most guns do, which is go commit all the violence that your politicians and the leftists are trying to push? Can anybody answer that question for me? Why did this gun that is clearly locked and loaded, this little red thing here, red means you're dead, safety's off. I'm not the dude from Indiana. I ain't about to shoot no hole in my floor. Don't worry about it, guys. I actually know what I'm over here doing. Empty. I noticed something. This gun that was full of rounds and had a magazine that was locked and loaded and ready to go did not get up and go do a fucking thing. And I'm just curious as to why. Does anybody have a reason why this gun did not get up, like the Hall of Violence says, gun violence? It didn't get up and do anything. because it seems like it has to be a dumbass behind this trigger, holding it, aiming it, squeezing it with the intention of those rounds penetrating human flesh before this thing will do any fucking thing. So it seems like it's a matter of the person with this inanimate item in their hand. This item is going to remain inanimate until you put it into action. That's just as dumb as saying car violence. Oh, am I right or am I wrong? I noticed some people left the building. Seems like some people might have wet their pants because DJ Just Jay kept it a little bit more real than most people are used to. Interesting. Very interesting. And this is not dedicated to anybody in the chat. I'm talking about people that say this. Y'all have heard them say this on TV in interviews plenty of times. Gun violence, gun violence, gun violence. Start replacing gun violence with dumbass violence, nigga violence, thug violence, cartel violence, gang violence, keeping it real violence, real nigga violence, criminal violence, felon violence. Replace that word gun with something else because it's the person. The person is the problem. Now, let's talk about these two people that you see on my screen. And Just Jay is wondering, as I mean no disrespect to this awesome, beautiful black queen who gave birth to that awesome model student over there on the end, which looks like he's throwing up gang signs. But what do I know about gangs? I don't know shit about gangs, even though I grew up in the hood, even though I grew up around gangs at its peak, even though I've been around gang members at the club, in the streets, in the hood. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know a gang sign when I see one. When mama specifically says she is confused as to why her son was targeted. My baby didn't do nothing, and he never hung out on the street. He never ran with the crowd. My baby played football, went to school, and played video games all the time. He was never that type of kid. When the pastor said that he was very aware of violence. Yes, I'm saying he was in a goddamn gang, and his mom is trying to say he wasn't in a fucking gang. That's exactly what I'm saying. If I'm wrong, sue me. That looks like a gang sign. This looks like a gang retaliatory strike. Or the fact that maybe they saw him throw up these gang signs in a picture, posted it at school. But I'm just saying, do you guys know how many people that I grew up with that I have watched throw up that very same sign, and those niggas are in the ground that I grew up with, that I watched get shot? I went to their funerals. Cousins, homeboys. I can't name all of them that I have watched throw up fingers and throw up signs. And they are dead behind it, close to his age. My cousin has been in the ground for almost 20 years. This year would have made 19 years, actually. December 24th makes 19 years. There is a reason why my people in Oklahoma and other places, the old heads, Once they got away from that lifestyle and said that I want to do better and be better, there is a reason why they wake up and have that epiphany and they say, you know what? There's got to be a better way and we got to do better. We're raising children. I don't want my children to be involved with this shit. I know where the end is of that street. I know that there ain't no light at the end of that tunnel for my kids and for my future, for my life and my wife. A lot of those guys have grown up and said, we got to do better and we teach better. Just because you grew up in some shit don't mean that you have to be a part of that same bullshit, that perpetual cycle of violence, death, and prison, and then push that down to the next generation, to your kids. It don't have to be that way. But one thing that you cannot do is you cannot act oblivious. You cannot act like you don't see it. You cannot go lying and telling people we don't know what happened and then turn around and put up a $20,000 GoFundMe when you ain't got no money at all. That's not how you do things. And you go begging white people for money, but then you go talking shit about the police, talking about it's the police's fault. No, it's not. The gun didn't do anything. The police did their job. Even the pastor said that they crossed the street and left the premises of the church. Therefore, it was no longer a funeral business. The business between the security guard and the cops was done. Unless they're trying to say that you want cops involved in your life 24/7. You want cops monitoring you guys 24/7? Why are they just standing there? Have you guys ever been in the hood? Maybe some of y'all don't know about the hood. Some of y'all are saying I'm preaching right now. I want y'all to hear me out on this, because some people might not know how we get down in the hood. How many of you guys have ever gone to an after-hours spot in the hood or a club in the hood? You go there to either go get you some food or go kick it, get you a drink, and you look across the street and you see 2-3 cop cars sitting there. Somebody got to hear me out there. You see 2 or 3 cop cars sitting across the street, and what do the nigga mentality say? And you hear them say amongst each other? Man, them motherfucker ass cops, why they sitting over there like that? Like, they just being racist. They think we gonna do something. So what it sounds like to me is that the cops can't win for losing. They can't win for doing their jobs. They can't win for not doing their jobs. They can't win for staying out of shit that don't concern them. They can't win for jumping in shit that concerns them. If you call them and if they don't show up early, it's a problem. If you call them and they show up, it's a problem. If you call them and ask them to arrest somebody and they arrest that person, it's a problem. What do you guys want from the cops? Either you want them there or you don't. I'm pretty sure at this point that if the cops are going to get sued for doing their job, then y'all not going to have no cops. So let's just say if they don't have any security and no cops, then how many people would have ended up dead just because niggas don't know how to stop themselves? You physically need people to come in and pry y'all apart and restrain y'all and physically prevent you from harming yourselves. Is that not a sad reality? Niggas are so stupid that you can't stop yourselves from fucking your own selves up, from putting your own selves in the grave, and you're at a fucking funeral looking at a dead person and you're just like, you know what, fuck that. Let's go make some more dead people that look like us. And then go turn around, I'm gonna go murder some poor people that look like us, that are going through the same struggle as us. They got the same proverbial white man foot in their back as well as mine. Yeah, let's go do that to them. That makes about as much sense as driving on the wrong side of the highway. I'm just throwing it out there. If you don't see what my problem is with any of this, then I don't think you ever will. And I don't think that the problems in Broward County, Florida, or any place else that has a high concentration of the black community is ever going to fix their own problems, because I don't think that a lot of people want to do better, because if you wanted to do better, you would perform better, you would act better, you would think better, you would speak better, you would treat each other better. If you really believed in black power and melanin and all of that stuff, why don't you treasure it when it's right there in front of you? Treasure your babies, treasure your families, treasure your marriage, treasure your finances, treasure your property, treasure your employment, treasure a future that means something. This is my plea to anybody who is willing to listen to my video. From my heart to yours, that's all I'm saying about this tragic story. If anybody gets mad about it and ignores everything positive that I actually said in this video, then by all means, continue to keep doing what you do best. All right? This is your boy DJ Just Jay. That's why we're the AFC. That means we advocate for children first. From my heart to yours, guys, have a great night. Thank you guys for listening to me on Super Bowl Sunday. Enjoy your night. We got more videos coming up because we got more stuff to talk about. And it's a sad situation all the way around, man. You guys have a great night, all right? Deuce. Peace.